Hello, ladies and gents. This is Nostrovini and it's Midnight Call. As you could see, it's January 2nd, early in the morning or late at night, and depending on how you view the night and the day. January 2nd, I said. Did I say 4th? Sometimes time goes by fast when you're dealing with the world as it is. Now, this is a series of articles that were in the Bible of mine, the New York Post. A miracle on the tracks. When New York City person goes in the subterranean hell that is the subway at this moment, there's always a miracle on the tracks that you don't get thrown into the tracks or burned alive or hit with a machete or stabbed or mutilated or disfigured. Of course, our illustrious mayor, who is probably the corruptest mayor in administration in terms of the administration, he has said that crime is down. Of course, there are lies, and statistics. Of course, statistically, it's down. It's just that there's so many numerous crimes that it is not reported. Now, Adams should not really be persecuted for his crimes of graft. Those are minor and annoying. No, no. He should be persecuted for not putting a right-wing concept in terms of law and OTA. Vigilante squads, unarmed guardian angels should be let into the subway. Some people would call this fascism. I call it justice. Adams, but they're not going to do that. So the body count continues to rise as more people are murdered, mutilated, and robbed upon the subways, and as mentally ill people are let loose to cut up our cabooses. Uh, now, body of subway Karen, one of the most vicious and spectacular crimes, where a woman was turned into a Roman candle by a Guatemalan illegal maniac. Uh, she was lit on fire. The woman had hard times. She wasn't a woman of, maybe she was a woman of sin, but she had a good job at one point and was a regular person. Yet she had a bit hard times, which can do in this harsh world happen to even the best of us. And she met her end being lit on fire by a maniac that the system let through its uh, itself, the system. But let's not blame the system too much, because that lets off the hook the psychotic Guatemalan who enjoys a good bonfire as long as it's a human being bonfired. Will shoot blast Blair on. Ah, yes. And our former mayor, Mr. Brazio, who punished the people, the good people, didn't let them go to church, didn't let them open their small businesses, didn't let them just live their lives. Yet he had special protection for his left-wing marauders who burned, killed, and demonstrated for the notorious George Floyd. Yes, a man who once pulled a gun on a pregnant woman. A good person to me as your martyr. Speaker, no, the Speaker of the House may be disenfranchised from his situation because he made a deal with the Democratic coalition. Well, he had to. He had to. He does what he can. He gave accolades by one of the Republicans that he is one of the few people on Congress who is not doing the hoopy doop behind the back of their spouse. And it's gotten so rare that somebody in Congress isn't a sleazeball. Now, I say with sleazeball with the greatest of affection. There's nothing wrong with being a sleazeball, as I I envy those people who could be sleazeballs, having something of a conscience and having never cheated on my gals, having one gal at a time. But this congressman, I can't remember his name. My brain, it's too early in the morning. He's a Republican representative, and we will put together a coalition that will one day have a right wing tilt to this whole country. Ole, ole, Sergeant being speaker no longer lousy to spousey. Is that what it says? Oh, I love the New York Post. I love me a post, indeed I do. It's true, it's true, it's true. La 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 loo la loo. Now, oh, I can't see. Let's spend the time together. Ah, this is about greed, about vanity, and about taking advantage of we poor men's libidos. Some women in my time would go Dutch. They would meet you, see if they got along with you before they went on a real date. And Dutch in the great land of Dutchdom, or Dutchy, the women used to go Dutch. They would split the, the check. But the painted whores here insist on being paid for. Don't forget, if who insists on an extravagant meal because she deigns her company so precious that she needs to be treated to a $500 meal or a $300 meal and doesn't chip in, the woman is indeed a demonic force. Don't marry a woman like that. She's a gold digger. She sells herself for money, for status. She doesn't value as a person. Now you may say, but he just wants to get me in the pants. A person wanting to sleep with you is a compliment to your body and your beauty. A person wanting to sleep with you, to be with you because you can get them a good meal is somebody, and because they paint themselves the whores of Babylon, is a whore that doesn't is sold to the highest bidder. She wouldn't make a good wife. She wouldn't make a good mother. And in time, the ugliness, no matter how, uh, no matter how painted she will come out in her face. Go out with good women, not mercenary, not gold diggers. Unless you have a lot of gold and are willing to have a divorce situation in time. Women's value is their sexuality. That is natural. And your oblivido, I'm talking to you men, is natural. A woman who is selling herself and inconsiderate of the monetary burden she puts on a man is not going to make a good wife or a good companion or a good friend. Ah, let's see. The teenagers have gone wild. They're stabbing people. They're kidnapping people. They're, one thing, they kidnapped a young girl of 13. Teens, mid-teens, who will not be tried as adults, are kidnapping women and raping them. Teens, I'm giving, when I say women, I mean girls. 13 was not a lucky number for this young woman. Just penetrating pubescence, she is subject to this trauma. Ah, but what again? And then this other young woman or girl stopped the flight because a boy was sneezing on her and she had a temper tantrum. Obviously, the woman was subject, or should I say, girl, teen, wasn't subject to the corporal punishment, which would have dissuaded her from her arrogance. I do believe in corporal punishment to varying degrees. Yes, a shelter, yes, Ivy, what is this? What am I doing here? Deserve death, but that, shellfish horror, Is it Darwinian to think that people who have allergies should die and the world should revolve around them not being able to eat shellfish or peanuts? I have no allergies except for at one point tofu, not tofu, cheese, feta cheese, and it made me very sick. And then I've overcome it. Now I, maybe from my bias of having an allergy that almost did me in, am sympathetic for those who have a weak immune system that reacts as if attacked. On the other hand, there is a part of me that's Darwinian. But you say, no, Sir Vincent, you can barely walk. You have allergies. Oh, not a bad allergy. Just get the sniffles in the winter. Will you be the victim of your god of Darwinism? I profess not to think about these things. I am a good bullshit bourgeois, and I can carry my load by being a bullshitter. Excuse the language. So that, ah, the liberal law judges have given the life in prison to the criminals who and more criminals who did 20 or 30, nearly 25 years ago, the World Trade Center atrocity. Not being sent to the great beyond, but to be in prison for the rest of their lives, where they can pray, where they can laugh, and have a good time. I prefer a death penalty. And then that's again, well, perhaps they will go to paradise and get their 76 virgins. Although, oh, paradise, it has 76 wives, craving sexual attraction and virgins from one man could be a joke hell. Although I think I could have at least 7 wives. Lucky seven. Lucky seven. Ah, we're having our border agents who are protecting this land from invasion from various narcotic gangs and criminals and uh, the illegals are being murdered by a Venezuelan gang who has license, they believe, to kill Americans, rape Americans. But the hand of the Lord is going to be upon them. They will be defeated, and the border guards will be given carte blanche to defend themselves, and also doing these malignant tumors who call themselves men. Giggling, giggling, kidnap thug. He kidnapped the young lady, or I should say, young girl, tied her to a tree. Or was she a woman? Or was she a girl? Never you mind. Being kidnapped and raped and left in a tree by a giggling man from another land, and who shouldn't be sitting or standing on our sand, is injustice. You know, I'm a constitutionalist pretty much, but I think certain aspects of the Constitution should be suspended. If you do something like that, cruel and unusual punishment would be apropos. Perhaps he would be beaten to death by a woman, a strong woman, a bodybuilder, a martial artist, or killed in a vat of mayonnaise, something in which is not dignified, or put into the Romans with the gladiator bits. Appropriate punishment. Let's just say. Elon, the richest man in the world, has allied himself with the most powerful man in the world, Trump. And so is their symbol, a frog, who's identified for the far right and racism and white supremacy. But this identification was done by a fraudulent Anti-Defamation League, which is a communist front. Anything that resists communism and multiculturalism and the pollution of the American way. They say it's racist every day, but it's not racist. It represents common sense and good. And the frog who won't be slowly temperature rising and scrub. I can't say the word. It's early in the morning, my friends. Early in the morning. Anyway, I'm going to go away now. The loveliness of Paris seems so sadly gay. The morning of Asita, Lusanaya.